Heather McDonald has got the juiciest scoop. When you're on the road, when you're on the go, Juicy Scoop is the show to know. She talks Hollywood tales, her real life Mr. Segment serial data, and serial sister. You'll be addicted and addicted fast to the #1 tabloid real life podcast. Listen in, listen up. Woo woo. Heather McDonald, Juicy Scoop.
Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. I have so much fresh scoop, updates, and a great interview all in one show. Let's get into it. Let me once again remind you that you need to come to Las Vegas. I'm getting so excited for the show. I'm working on it all the time. And this is going to be a hilarious, funny, snarky, no holds bar kind of show. All BravoCon related, heavy in the con. And it is November 14th at MGM Grand, and truly, this will sell out. We're down to the last tiny bit of tickets. There is not a bad seat in the house. This is Friday night, November 14th. Get it at heathermcdonald.net. That is also where you can join my Patreon. Besides our special exclusive content that comes every Friday, we have a very fun video that we're going to share with you that you will love, that I'm only going to put on there, and so much more all the time. So let's get into it. Well, Kevin Federline, Britney Spears' former husband, father of her 2 sons, is coming out with his memoir. The title is horrible. The title is like, You Thought You Never Knew, or it's just not a great title. But anyway, it's his memoir. He's doing interviews for it. And he goes on to say that he's very concerned for Britney's mental health and well-being, that everything got worse once the Free Britney movement happened, and that his boys very much worry about her and want to have a great relationship with her. He also reveals in his book that at one point when the boys were much younger, they woke up with her allegedly like watching them sleep with a knife in her hand. I mean, and then you're like, oh, but they want to have a great relationship with her. Well, this is, so her reps are coming forward saying, of course, Kevin comes out with a book now that the child support has ended since both boys are over 18. What is all the point of this? He says, no, I want nothing more than them to have a great relationship with her. But she is at full peak of spinning, and the brown sensible pumps go on every trip, every location with her. And you know how I feel when those brown sensible pumps come out. Versus cowboy boots or something else. There's something about them. And yeah, it's concerning, the dollar dresses, all of it. But we're also really used to it. And I kind of feel like people are just like, whatever, let her do her, boo. And he also said that the night before their wedding, he caught her calling and talking to Justin Timberlake, who was her, boyfriend in the Mickey Mouse Club, and supposedly like they lost their virginity together, and they were these, big stars. They had the dance off and the matching, and then they also went on the red carpet in the matching jean outfits, the whole thing. And she said, well, I just, wanted to talk to him one last time. What I find interesting as someone who has studied a lot about Britney Spears is when she was getting married for the second time, actually the third, because the first one was Jason Alexander. That was that guy's name that she got married to in Vegas. That was like her childhood friend. Then she married KFed. When she was marrying Sam, who was on Juicy Scoop, Jason Alexander claimed that he was talking to her on the phone leading up to the day of the wedding, and that he was in town and that she wanted to see him. This is all that he's like claimed in interviews and whatnot. And, he has a kind of an interesting past, and he does have somewhat of a record which could be disputed or alleged, whatever. Nothing too serious. But he was found on her property in this area, not too far from where I'm recording this, the day of the wedding. And they thought, oh my God, he's trying to get to her. Now he claims in interviews, Jason Alexander, that they were talking, that they were contacting each other, and that he had plans to see her. And so he was going to go through a hill into her backyard to find her. Anyway, I just think it's interesting that in both cases of her getting married, she was in contact with an ex-boyfriend. I don't know. Anyway, KFed, who knows? But people are going to be curious about this book. Are people going to actually buy it and read it all the way through? Well, they should. If they're huge fans, we'll see. I mean, he did raise the boys. They seem to be doing well. And if this is his truth, we'll see. So there you go with that. Well, you guys, I've predicted a lot of things since I've been doing Juicy Scoop for 10 years. I'm wearing my 10-year anniversary shirt. And some of it has been fashion. And I told you that with the rise a few years ago of side cleavage, then there was underboob cleavage. I said there's going to be vagina cleavage or groin cleavage. I was right about that. Camel toe has made a huge comeback. People can buy camel toe insertion. So if they feel like their leggings are not giving them enough of a camel toe and they're envious of the girl at the matcha place who has a larger one, they can do that. I'm so sick of the sheer outfits that everybody's wearing where it's just like a G-string bikini, nips out, and you just wear like a sheer cover up and you go to the Oscars. I think that look is done. Well, one of the geniuses of our time is Kim Kardashian. What, Heather? Yes, genius marketing. When I first saw this, someone sent to me, I immediately went and did my own research because I was pretty sure it was real, but in this world, we don't know. And Skims, the billion-dollar company of Kim Kardashian, is selling faux hair micro string thongs. It's a mix of fake, curly, and straight hair. So, I mean, I don't know who did it. It's like if you blew out your hair and you just did like pieces of curling it on your head, you want to do that for your fake bush. And you can get in all different shades so it can match your color. There was a time when people said, everyone is getting their bushes lasered off. What if it comes back in style? Well, as my mother said, everything does come back in style, including a hairy bush. And so if you never went down the expensive, painful route of laser hair removal, let that thing grow. And I guess soon you'll just be wearing it full. Now you can just wear the bush out because you can say, I'm not naked. It's my Skims underwear. It's not my real bush. And wear that to the Oscars and the Emmys and everything else. It's $32. And if you'd like to buy one, you can join the wait list. It is sold out. The faux micro string thong is sold out. I don't know if this is just everybody doing it for fun. I don't know if this will be their slutty Halloween costumes. I don't know if there's seriously people who are swiping and talking to guys online who are like, I don't want to meet you at Starbucks unless I know you're sporting a full bush. It's my new thing. And then they're like, shoot, I got that lasered out in 2009. Oh, thank God. Let me just see if I can get one. What? Skims can give me one and the curtain can match the roots. That's an expression a lot of people use where they'd say when people did have hairy pubes, they'd be like, you're a redhead, but does the what is it? Oh, do the curtains match the carpet? I think that's what it meant. Meaning, does your hair on your head match it down there? Well, now if you dye your hair blonde or another color, you can go get the matching thing. Now, you would be able to see the string. So I don't know if a guy is going to be turn around and go, get the hell out of here, you fake piece of shit. And then you're like, I'm not a fake piece of shit. I just have a faux hair micro string thong on by Skims. Laugh all the way to your private Kim Airjet because who's ever buying this, you're an idiot. You wear this with your nips on the outside of your bra and you go get yourself a man. And if you cannot, I don't want to hear you crying about it. Okay. Also on the same day of releasing the faux hair micro Skims G-string, Heidi Klum kind of getting to a desperate place, girl. Like, She wore a sheer thing to Paris Week. And it's like, we get it. You're still hot. I saw her do an interview saying, I just like to walk around naked. It's just really fun. I just like to be nude all the time. That's where I'm most comfortable. So to keep with that theme, she's filming herself like laying in her bed with her nails. And you don't see her nip, but you see her pulling like one lone long nipple hair. And she's just talking to the audience. Like, what do you guys do when you get a long nipple hair? And people are just, being a concerned citizen. Like, I just tweeze it. Oh, no, girl, just trim it. Just cut it. Just add it to the hairs in the corner that you can then make your own faux mini bush and compete with Skims. Insane. Last night, Real Housewives of Salt Lake City was on. And I have to say, these girls are naturally funny. The editing is amazing. And real fights and real arguments are truly happening. And they truly have real friendships as well. So I am thoroughly entertained. They had a party at a estate because Whitney said, ever since I just tried to be this Whitney Rose beauty, Justin, my husband, didn't care about my beauty company. And I stopped getting tattoos. I stopped twirling on a pole and rolling around in body paint with him. And it was already too late because he lost his job. And then he didn't want to help me sell Whitney Rose Beauty. And it really hurt me. So now I'm going back to Whitney Rose Wildness. And we're going to have some fun at an estate winery. And then Mary, the former church leader, comes, or maybe she still is one. She comes, and she truly is a very funny person. And she's just like, I don't know why Whitney, little girl Whitney, would have her party here. The owner killed his wife and himself in front of his dog. And the dog, they said, was never the same. And I'm like, my God, what if this was your estate and you're all excited that Real Housewives of Salt Lake City is going to film? And you're like, this is such great publicity for our wine, for people that want to have parties here. And now she just unloaded the deep, dark, ghost-like secrets that's happening at winery. But maybe it'll also help. Maybe that'll even get more people to want to come during Halloween times. I don't know, but hilarious. So they go and they're having their wine. And since it's a flower theme party, some of them came into some real flowers. A huge flowery coat. Bronwyn, who does, these crazy outfits, arrives. And then Meredith Marks comes in this thing that is very strange. It's a jean jacket, matching skirt, and matching over-the-knee boot, all with gray flowers coming out of it. And Mary goes, looks like a walking virus. And Meredith is like, oh, really? This is my outfit. It's a wonderful idea for a flowery garden party. Hello. And so they, right off the bat, Lisa Barlow, she comes in ready to have a fight with Angie. And she's like, you want me to go low? I'll go lower. Okay. And then Angie's like, why would you write me this text? What is this about? She's like, because you went on a trip to Greece. You couldn't afford it. You had to borrow a friend's credit card. And then you had to write him a check after. I'm just saying that's what I know. Okay. I didn't have to dig it up. And she then opens her wallet, Angie, and she's chucking out black cards and credit cards. A Discover card from 1992 fell out. Everything is just, I've got credit cards. I've got cards. And they are just going back and forth and fighting. Meanwhile, Whitney had this intuitive psychic come that did tarot cards. And he seemed like a real delight. And it's my opinion that he's gay. He appeared to be a man that was gay. Okay. I just say what's great about this, but I am curious, is the only psychics I've ever seen featured on TV or in real life have either been women or gay men. I have never seen a straight male psychic on any kind of show. Now, is it just they don't get hired on TV, or do they actually, are straight men not blessed with any psychic ability? This is a real question I have, and I want to hear from you. Anyway, he seemed to definitely get some intuitiveness. Lisa Barlow, he clicked into the fact that she's having marital problems, which she hasn't shared with the girls on the show. And she was like, yes, sometimes we just have a communication problem. And so she was very touched by what he had to say. And then same with Whitney Rose and her husband. Then what was interesting is he had the new girl, Britney, on, and he said, one of your daughters, is having trouble with your relationship. And she was like, how would he know that? I'm shaking. How would he know that? And then the brilliant editors show 7 scenes from the previous season, which have already aired, in which she talks about how she and her daughters, especially her younger daughter, he is not on the same page and they aren't communicating. So that was kind of fun. Anyway, Bronwyn is crying with this psychic about her mother and that her mother might get sick and she needs to repair this relationship. And there's just so many, honestly, really crazy things in it. But the whole thing took place at this winery, screaming. And then at one point, someone would be screaming. And then the woman running the winery would be like, I just opened up some more rosé. And she'd walk off. And then each person that was leaving in a huff had to pass the psychic reading of their co-star. As the co-star is crying, they're just like, I've had it. They walk out. And if this was scripted, you'd say this is too much, but this was not scripted. This was so funny and so real. So I give it to them. Okay. Kim Zolziak of Real Housewives of Atlanta. She's going through a divorce with Kroy. Kroy recently posted a post about domestic abuse, that he was a victim of that and all he's trying to do to get out of his world. When we met him, he had blonde hair. Now he has red with a red beard, which is interesting. Anyway, I would love to talk to Kroy. Now, when we first met Kim Zolziak, she was a single mother of 2. And she was open about how she had this boyfriend that she referred to as, thank you, Big Papa. She'd call him Big Papa, and he'd buy her Range Rovers at the drop of a hat. He took care of her lifestyle. And people found out back then that he was, in fact, married, and they had an open kind of relationship. He never appeared on the show. She never said his name. Well, now Kim Zolziak is being subpoenaed in a $100 million divorce by man's estranged wife, demanding answers over gifts. This appears not to be Big Papa. This couple who's going through a divorce, the wife is saying the husband, is worth $100 million, which now is nowhere to be found. So they're in a contentious financial divorce, this couple. They got married in 2017, which is why we know it is not Big Papa. But she believes that Kim Zolziak received gifts from her husband. And when you're going through a forensic accounting divorce, you want to show all of that. It's not just about the cheating. It's like, where is the money? And according to Kim's people, allegedly, she was subpoenaed. She has not made her appearance at, being subpoenaed and being questioned, but she finds it humiliating and unnecessary. And why are they dragging her into it? But come on, that's juicy. And, if she was having a relationship with this guy who was going through his divorce and he was giving her gifts in the last couple years, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. She and Kroy have been separated and fighting and living in the house in 2 different areas of the house for a couple of years. So who knows if it crosses over or not. But that was stuff that we would hear in the fights when the cops would come and their body cam would catch them arguing about whether, she doesn't want him in her closet or he's like, she's doing this and that. So that is why it's really juicy if you've covered the case. If in fact she found another Big Papa to help, to be a generous boyfriend to her. And if he was so generous, then why did she also have to take Ariana's money? Is that her name? Her daughters are Brielle and Ariana. Yeah, Ariana's the younger one who is on Gen Z New York, or Next Gen New York, in which she revealed that all the money that she made as a kid, as a teenage influencer, her mom took because she needed it. And she also recently revealed that unbeknownst to her, her mom was very into plastic surgery and lasers and all these things. And she was unaware that her mom was taking her to get facial treatments, which in fact took off her freckles. For my old girls, remember when Jan Brady did not want freckles and she was rubbing lemon on her face? Anyway, I assume they got some laser and it burned off. And now she wishes she had freckles because now people actually paint the freckles on their face. But freckles are not I think they're doing fine as a mother and daughter. I kind of want to know more about this relationship. And I don't blame the ex-wife for doing everything she can to figure out where this money is. I know it's been a couple years now, and thank goodness more and more people are talking about how great GLP-1s has worked for them to get healthy, to feel better, for weight loss. And then the next question is, but wait a minute, do I have to pay out of pocket? Does my insurance cover some of it, all of it? How do I know? And that is so great about Ro, because Ro's insurance checker lets you know if you're covered for GLP-1s for free. So if you want to see if you're covered, just submit your insurance card and Ro will take care of the rest. There's no paperwork, no hassle, no waiting on hold. Anyway, Ro's free insurance checker will send you a comprehensive report of your coverage details so you can make a decision that's right for your goals. Go to ro.co/juicy scoop for your free insurance check. That's ro.co/juicy scoop to see if your insurance covers GLP-1s for free. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Bradley Cooper, as you know, is doing coffee commercials, and he's dating Bella Hadid, which was kind of a very odd pairing for their age and everything. But the oddest thing is that he got some strange plastic surgery. I think it's a combination of plastic surgery, weight loss, just old-fashioned aging, but the kind of plastic surgery that like changes the shape of your eyes and stuff, where it's like, what? And people are saying he is looking like Barry Manilow, and he really is. Everyone's like, what the hell happened to Bradley Cooper? I mean, I do feel like I'm looking at a completely different person. He is transitioning. I mean, I don't know who is transitioning into Barry Manilow like 25 years ago. And it's just weird. And there's some really great plastic surgery out there, Kris Jenner and people being one of them. And then there's those like him and Simon Cowell that like, you're like, wow, that face looks real different. Like, it's strange, but he's still cute enough to be a celebrity doing mainstream commercials. So I don't know what's going on with the acting career, but the face might be holding him back, Okay. Real Housewives of Potomac, what she talked about, Wendy. So I watched the episodes last night, and it is pretty disturbing now that she's been arrested. And what I did not realize, this is Wendy who got caught for lying about being robbed. There's some new developments in it. One of the things that she said to the interviewer, Gibson, was, yes, and I live in a beautiful area, and there has not been a robbery here in 20 years or something, and this never happened. So I definitely think it was targeted because I'm Dr. Wendy, famous Real Housewives of Potomac, rich woman who dresses so fabulously. And I also saw this person do a whole rant saying, Wendy, when people were hiring you to be a consultant on like CNN or whatever, it wasn't Wendy with the fine looking clothes. It wasn't like, what's Wendy going to be wearing today? They really appreciated her mind and her education, which she always bragged about. And now I guess she can hang her 4 degrees. I have my degree behind me from USC, but if I had 4 of them and I was Wendy, I guess you could ask to hang that in your jail cell. But anyway, these episodes that were filmed, she's talking about how they're going to redo their living room and get a marble fireplace all the way up to the 2nd story. And she's like, Eddie's doing so well. He's opening his marijuana business to 2 more states, and he's just rolling in it. And this aired, and then she was arrested. So this aired like 2 weeks ago, and then she was arrested last week. And what I didn't realize is that she was wearing the wedding band that she said was stolen in an episode of the show that aired. And when they did the timeline, that day of filming was post, quote unquote, the robbery. Also, I guess, she made sure that everyone in the neighborhood, she was doing her, neighborly good thing, saying, be careful, we were just robbed. And, and letting them know that keeping with the story that we were robbed, and I hope this doesn't happen to anybody else, and just be aware, and, trying to be a good neighbor. So it is funny to kind of watch that. But she resigns from university job after the fraud charges. However, that university job has come forward and said, no, she was no longer working for us. One of them, she was she wasn't at Johns Hopkins. She was at a different school. Anyway, they're basically saying, no, we had let her go before. She's saying, whatever. She's not working. She's not teaching your kids while she awaits these charges. Little Meghan Markle news. She had a lot of fun in Paris week, Fashion Week. There was some controversy. She's very much doing like the no makeup, and she's stunning and the solemn like face as she's walking out, and why not? You're like in the Fashion Week and looking beautiful. She did post one video of her in the back of a big car. Maybe, I don't even think they make new limos, so I don't know if it was a limo, but like whatever, with her feet up, and people caught that it was truly close to the horrible accident scene that Princess Diana died in. So that wasn't good. Maybe it was conscious, maybe it wasn't. They're saying that Meghan Markle, according to a New York Post, had invited herself to Paris Fashion Week. Balenciaga designer says, well, I think a lot of people reach out. I think a lot of celebrities have their reps reach out and, say, oh, you're probably not aware, but Meghan's going to be there. She's going to be going to lots of shows. And she's free at 2:00 on Friday. If you have a spot for her, she'd love to attend, and we can arrange that. That's not like the worst thing in the world. Then she, Then she went and appeared at a Fortune's Most Powerful Women Summit, where she revealed her Netflix series With Love, Meghan will be dropping a holiday special. So I cannot wait to see what fun treats that she comes up with that are decorated with Christmas flowers or parts of your Christmas tree that you can cut up and actually make edible as you sprinkle it on a homemade Christmas tree, or not. Could be like a little trick. Like, oh, what I like to do is I just take the sugar cookies and then I roll them up and then I flatten them out again just to add 3 more steps and make little Christmas tree cookies. And my kids love this. They feel that this is a beautiful, fun thing to do. And I'm so excited for my guest to come, Mrs. Claus. And we're going to talk to her. And then Mrs. Claus comes and she never asks her anything about her marriage or about her life. And Meghan just talks about herself. And as she's in her, fake house down the road, acting like she had just organized her fridge that day. I think good times are about to come on that Christmas special. You better believe I'll be watching it. Hilaria Baldwin did get the boot from Dancing with the Stars, which is all based on audience voting. And she is claiming that she was bullied. I was bullied by a bunch of mean girls that, they have been after me since the very beginning. They are obsessed with me. They're always talking online about me and I don't know why. And the way it works is people have to vote for you. And they gathered around and they got so many people to vote for the other people that then I didn't have enough votes for me. That's bullying. That is bullying. And that is not okay. And my little Balduinos are shaking and they don't know why their mother is no longer shaking on TV, but in fact in front of them. Also shaking is Alec Baldwin, who appears to just got into a bad accident. It did seem to be a rainy day. He was with his brother and Stephen Baldwin, and who was wearing a very unfortunate outfit. And they crashed. He crashed his Range Rover into a tree in the Hamptons. But I don't think there's anything there's nothing Karen Huger-ish about it. But anyway, it was a big week for her. Okay. I thought this was really interesting. This is Will Smith was doing an interview. I don't know when it was, but it popped up and I listened to it and I thought it was fascinating. And he was talking about how when Willow, his daughter, she was only 9 or 10, came up with that song, I whip your hair all around, I whip your hair all around. And she had these long braids and she would sing the song and whip her hair all around. And she did a great show and everybody loved it. And he was like, you were great, baby. And Willow goes, but I'm done now. He goes, what do you mean? She's like, no, I'm done. I don't want to do the shows anymore. I don't want to perform anymore. I don't want to whip my hair around anymore. And he's like, but Willow, you promised Mr. Jay-Z that you would go on a 40-city tour with him. And we need to keep to our commitments. And she said, I didn't commit to that, Dad. You did. And he's like, no. I cannot call Mr. Jay-Z and tell him that you're not going to whip your hair around. Once you do these 40 cities at 9 years old, then you can then you can stop. And he said, and she kind of got sad and she went to bed. And the next morning she came out and she had shaved her head. And I thought, this is so brilliant. This is such an interesting story. And he got it. And I thought, what a brilliant girl to have done that. And that's when she shaved her head. She was like, I did the song and it was fun. And I'm a kid. I don't want to do a 40-city tour because, and then when people ask me, what do you think about kids that are on reality shows or TV stars that are children and I say, it's too much pressure on a kid that maybe didn't ask for it or might change their mind that they're not into it anymore. You're not a 35-year-old that committed to going on a 40-city tour. And even 35-year-olds that commit on going a tour cancel and flake out when they're over it and they don't care. And they don't care about their fans. So very interesting there. A couple updates on Real Housewives of Miami. I did not realize that when Adriana went over and said, you stole my heart, and so here it is. And she gave her this box with a heart in it. And I thought it was just like a weird, like, whatever, DIY, whatever, what is the DIY? What is it when you make your own crafts? Anyway, I didn't know it was because earlier she said, Andy, when I first met Julia, she said, you're so beautiful. You look like Snow White. She was so into me. She said I was the most beautiful girl that she had ever seen. She said, I love your boobs. She went into the bathroom with me and I let her feel my boobs. So right from the start, she was hitting on me. And so when she gives her that heart in the box, it had to do with the fact that when they first met, Julia called her Snow White. And now as Snow White, she's giving her heart to the mean queen. I mean, thank you for the person that figured that out. This is like too much analyzing in a Real Housewives show, I swear. Speaking of gay relationships, Charlie Sheen has done yet another interview. You know, he has his Netflix doc. He has his book out in which he says after years of sleeping with tons of women and porn stars and everything else, he also, in the height of his crack addiction, got really into sleeping with men. And he was always scared that someone would ring the doorbell or come out in the news like, hi, I'm the guy that you slept with. I'm going to ruin your life or whatever. And that's why he's so happy that he just went free and talked about it. And he said, I'm with great company. Marlon Brando, I allegedly slept with men as well as the great comedian Richard Pryor. And so he's like, yeah, so it's not a big deal. And that's basically what Julia said. Julia was like, I didn't want Adriana hanging over my head that I was a cheater and that I slept with her or whatever. And so now, yeah, everybody can be a little bi, a little gay, and it is not a juicy scoop. So move on, people. Okay, but now, this was juicy. So talking about Miami, Gertie, who also no longer gets along with Julia. To remind you, Julia called her in a panic and said, will you go on this 2 or 3 day yacht trip with me for influencers? I was supposed to take Martina, but she had a health scare and she cannot go. Gertie went, and then there was a big fun night with Captain Sandy, who is a lesbian who's married, to have a fun dinner, and Julia blew her off and said, get your own dinner by yourself in a restaurant down at the end of the ship. And so that really pissed her off. And then she said that she was, she had a different story, Julia, of how she was so awful or something. I don't even know. So that was the story. So Gertie had shared her text messages about it, and she felt they were edited to make it look like there was something more nefarious. She was just trying to show that she was actually invited by Julia. Now people wonder, if Martina really had a health scare, why was Julia going at all? Why wouldn't Julia blow it off? And also, maybe that's why she didn't want Gertie around, is because she is such a cheater and such a nymph, as they said. And there were many like sexy, high-powered lesbians on this trip that she wanted to go to that dinner by herself. She didn't want Gertie to take any light from her, and she wanted to do her own freaky thing. Maybe that's the case. That's just a theory. But Gertie said, in going back and forth under comments, this woman wrote to Gertie, her name's Connie Going, Gertie Design, you are the eternal victim, move on. This show defines no one. And then Gertie writes back to her saying, hi, Connie, recognize you from our show. You are Julia's social worker. But did she pay you a bonus to also be her social media spokesperson? Stay out of this and stick to foster caring. I will publicly expose all the nasty comments you have wrote about me and sent me. And if you've seen the show, you know I will. Come it up, Connie. I mean, and that's pretty juicy because that's a social worker. And then there were other comments about, this is a woman who helped her get these foster kids. Very, very interesting. So there you go with that. Ramona is in a movie. Yes, Ramona Singer is in a movie. I follow her. It's called, let me see. What's the name of the movie? Friendly Distraction. Ramona Singer has second billing, you guys. And I just cannot wait to see this movie. It's on Tubi. And I can imagine she's going to be like, you know what really is a distraction? It's a bunch of hot guys. Okay. I really like these hot guys. It's a place we're in New York. What's going on? I don't know what's about. I don't know if it's a murder mystery. I don't know if it's about anti-aging cream. I don't know if it's about, it's about supporting women. Okay. It's about supporting women and not being distracted by friendly people when you're doing it. So very excited for her. Little update on the David murder trial that we talked about. Now, the guy who owns the house that David was renting at the time that he was seen with Celeste and she was missing and people witnessed them together, he has hired his own private investigator, which goes along with what I said on Juicy Crimes. Please subscribe. It's in the below. You can get that link. Subscribe, listen to it. It's with Matt Murphy. It came out yesterday. That he's doing his own investigation. So maybe his own investigator will find the evidence that Matt Murphy said is so important, like any DNA of hers or on a pillow or where it shows that she'd like spent the night or anything like that. Juicy Scoop update. Donna Adelson has been sentenced to life in prison. This is the mother-in-law. This is the famous case out of Miami and Tampa where this girl and her husband were having a horrible, contentious custody battle. She wanted to take their two young sons and move to Miami. He was teaching law in Tampa and didn't want that to happen. They were fighting, and he came home from the gym, and someone shot him in his car as he pulled into the driveway. They eventually drew connections between the soon-to-be ex-wife, her brother, who was a dentist, had hired someone that worked in his office, who also had an ex who was someone who could execute someone for money. He got convicted. The girl's brother did, along with now the mother. They had all this evidence where the mother and the brother were talking. They'd been following them for a long time, in which they planned this hit on the son-in-law. When she got sentenced, the elderly mother still is claiming her innocence, speaking very highly of her brother-in-law, saying that he was hunted down and that she is totally innocent. And now people wonder, are they going to go after the daughter, who was the soon-to-be ex-wife of the man who was executed during this contentious custody battle? Very juicy. Some Golden Bachelor news. I hope you guys are watching it. I have a special treat coming up in a minute from the franchise. But the original Golden Bachelor, Jerry Turner, has a book coming out. And he is the one who got married to this woman, Teresa. They got divorced after 3 months. He is already engaged to a woman. I tried to find her age. I believe she's in her mid-50s. He's like 75 or something. I believe he also got a nice little facelift. Anyway, he seems happy. They're getting married, but he's also written a book. And he said, I am not worried, but Teresa should be. Like, what? What are you saying about this girl that you met on a contestant dating show and was only married to for 3 months? So he said he is spilling the beans about Teresa. And also, The Bachelor is getting a mansion makeover. They are saying that HGTV will take 12 Bachelor Nation alums with expert renovation skills and will return to the iconic mansion and give it an update, which I believe it needs because I'm watching it right now and it is beautiful, but it is looking a little dated. And I think that's a great idea for a show. And I also found out that the newest Bachelor, Mel Owens, Golden Bachelor, he talks about his ex-wife who wanted the divorce. The last episode, he said, about 5 years ago, she went forward with the divorce and he heard that she's getting married. Well, I was sent evidence that she is in fact happily married to a woman, which I think even makes his case, maybe that'll come out later, but I think that comes out even better for Mel because it's not like you could assume if you're dating him, well, it's not like you were such a horrible husband that she had to leave. It's like you're a man and she is in love with a woman and you can't compete with that. So I even think that made him even a better candidate as the next Golden Bachelor. So it's a very fun show and I'm excited to have my good friend Maia Dreyer on it. She's going to walk us through what it was like to be chosen, what happened while she was on it this current season. And here we go with Maia. Hello and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Well, I have one of my friends that I've had for a very long time. We met right at the tail end of college. Maia Dreyer. I have told you guys that I had a friend on The Golden Bachelor. She's sitting here because she is not marrying Mel Owens. Welcome, Maia.
Thanks for having me, Hetty.
I have to tell you, so I'm really enjoying the show. I wish you had lasted longer, but when there's not a love connection, there's not a love connection. But first, I just want to say that I watched it again last night, your part, because you were just in the first episode.
Right.
And knowing that, you were married for a very long time, you're divorced, you have 3 grown, successful children, and I hadn't seen you be flirty in ever. Because we've both been married so long. You are now a single girl. So to watch you come out of the limo and go, hi, I'm Maia.
Oh, well, that was, it was a minute, it took me a minute to get comfortable getting out of the limo and seeing the Bachelor Mansion and the Bachelor and the fountain and just what you see on TV. I was a little, I think, not myself at that moment.
Because now I wonder when you do date, is that how you do it?
Oh, yeah. When they come to the door, I'm in my sequined plunging dress and I say, hello. No, not at all. That was a very unnatural situation.
As you were like, I'm Maia from Malibu, just down the road from you.
Is
just
that what
up
I
the
said?
road from you or something. Mm-hmm. And so I think this was meant to be. And I was like, geez.
Yeah, go me.
So let's go back to, I remember where I was when you called me and you said, this is happening. It happened. And what made you decide to do it? How did it come about?
It came about in it was fate, I believed. I was in my room a few weeks before I arrived to shoot for the show. It was maybe 2.5 weeks. Mm-hmm. And I got a text. And it was a casting person. And they said, we got your information. Are you still single? And I immediately thought it was a prank. Because what do you mean the Golden Bachelor casting is texting me on 12 o'clock on a Wednesday? I said, prove you are who you are because this is weird.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm very busy right now. I was remodeling my place. I had contractors there. I had a cabinet man there. I remember it like yesterday. And I said, I'm really busy right now. I can't talk, but maybe later tonight. And the guy said, it's our last day. All I'll need is 5 minutes of your time. So I said, okay. And he called me. And
so do you know how they found out about you? Was it just Instagram?
I don't know how they found me, but then he FaceTimed me. And when he FaceTimed me, we talked for a bit, and he said, I'd like you to meet producers. The next day I had a Zoom with 6, and I had a great conversation. It was very effortless and easy. They were all really, really nice. And each day it was a new, they really vet you to become a part of this show. You go through a lot of background checks. They just don't let anybody on there. So each day I went through another kind of background screening and passed. And it was almost like going down a slide really quickly.
Yeah.
And all the doors just kept going. And then lo and behold, I was coming back from Colorado, and the head of the casting called and said, we want you on the show. So I really thought it was fate. Like, I didn't actively go after it. I wasn't hustling to get it. It came to me. And so, as you know me, it's very out of my wheelhouse to do something like this. But I thought, what the heck, life is short. I want to see what it's like. I want to start being more adventurous and fearless. And I did it. And it definitely was one of the bravest things I've ever done.
So you have boy-girl twins. And how old are they now?
They're 28.
28. And they, you are a tall, gorgeous girl. You created tall, gorgeous children who are also athletes, in collegiate athletes. So your son played football at Stanford. His twin also played volleyball, right? At UCLA, and did it at Santa Clara too.
Right. She got a free MBA playing at Santa Clara. And then my baby played volleyball at Yale.
So, which is then you made a career out of that too, in
Right.
helping other kids maneuver how to become an athlete in college and get accepted, and, write the right essays and all that. So
I don't help them write essays.
no, you don't help them write essays.
But I
Okay, so-
empower them to achieve their college goals.
Very good. Yes. This is not the
There's
college
no Rick
scandal.
Singer. There's no helping anything academic. That's all on them.
No. Lori
Yes.
Loughlin was not a client of yours.
No.
So, okay. So what happened when who'd you tell first? I'm guessing you told your daughters before your son.
Oh my gosh, I told my son, the absolute last person on earth. I told because I was the most fearful he would be the one that would object. He's very protective.
Okay.
And so once I got the offer from casting, the official offer, he was the first one I called.
So when you were kind of going through it, wondering, you were sharing with your daughters.
I shared with them and they were excited. With Jack, he was a left tackle. He protects the quarterback. He protects his mother. He protects his sisters. And so I was nervous. And when I called him, it was another example where I thought it was fate bringing me to do this experience.
Because he was positive about it?
He didn't talk for about 5 minutes. And I think I heard a thud. I think he fell to the floor. But then when he was able to speak, the first thing he said was, you sacrificed for us our entire life. And I think you should do it or you're going to have regret, and you deserve happiness and you deserve this opportunity.
Yes.
And that was very surprising in a good way. And I thought, there's nothing stopping me now. It's all a green light.
Okay. So what can you tell us about the process of choosing the clothes? So you have to
my
pack,
favorite part.
right? So you have to.
Yes.
Do they give you a list like you would for a child at camp? Like you need this many kinds of outfits in case you make it all the way to the end.
Yes, you get a Golden Bachelorette camp packing list. That's exactly almost what you get. But I had, as you know, I like shopping and I like clothes. So for me,
For people that don't know, Maia also, before having kids, was in the fashion world.
Right.
We met at the first job out of college, which was being an assistant buyer for Robinson's May, which then was bought by Macy's. But it was not the fun fashion job that we thought it was going to be.
Then I went on to Guess.
Then you went on to Guess, and that was good. But she's still the person I love to shop with. And she is the person I call and I say, should I get this? Should I not?
Yeah, you just texted me a bag.
Yeah.
But so the shopping part, which is daunting for most people, was the most thrilling for me.
Yeah.
Much more thrilling than being in front of a camera. You are to pack for, I think it was 8 rose ceremonies.
Okay.
So that's 8 dresses and things for pool and dates and all of those things. So that was a lot of fun.
And so that, how many bags did you have?
Well, they said bring 2.
2 big ones.
Right.
Okay.
So I had 2 very large ones. Because I think if you travel, you're only allowed to bring 2 bags.
If you go on the next thing. Okay.
Right.
All right. So now how did the initial photo shoot and all of that go?
Okay. That was my absolute favorite thing of the whole thing.
Okay.
I loved it. The promo day where I wore my red jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And that was ABC promos.
Now that jumpsuit, did you pick out, or was there a day because they wanted you to kind of all have a aesthetic of these kind of bright colored outfits?
Right. With the wardrobe, ABC wardrobe provided the outfits for that shoot.
Okay.
And it was a full day of wardrobe, and I got to, pick my favorite music, and the fan was on. And this was my day of, I met with social media people. I was interviewed. I did photos. I did a little commercial where I think they showed, before they announced who the girls were going to be, only I know, because you see the sliver of red and a gold rose. You see my jaw.
Yeah.
That was from that day. But that was really, really fun. I enjoyed that. And then I did some other shoots playing pickleball and things like that.
Oh, so your package of what your
My
life
package,
is
if
like.
I would have made it, yes.
So did they go to your house?
No, I went to a pickleball court and they had a little production team there.
Okay. And then, so how many days are you in the hotel waiting before you go and have the exciting first night?
I don't know how much I should talk about that.
Okay,
but,
fine.
But there was a little bit of time before.
Okay. So you get to the, now how much did you know about him? Because it's interesting because I'm watching it now, and the girls, when they have one-on-one time with him, they're like, well, when I found out it was you, I was just so excited. And he wasn't on any other previous seasons, right? He wasn't a guy. He wasn't a leftover from Joan's season of The Golden Bachelorette. So did they tell you who it's going to be and you can kind of at least see what he looks like? Or was it just because the news media had released who he was going to be because he had the controversial podcast episode?
No, they shared who he was. He was tall. He was a football player. He was a lawyer. So I like athletic, smart, tall men. He checked those boxes. And I knew there was some controversy, but being a mother of athletes, and especially football, I know how sometimes things get misconstrued, locker room talk, things like that. So I went in wanting to give him the benefit of the doubt for sure.
And he has 2 sons, and we see the 2 sons. And he, on last night's episode, or one of them, he reveals that he was divorced and it was kind of the wife's choice. And so he's been single for 5 years. So he's been dating, and he is a good looking guy. I think, but then the girls were all so attractive.
Oh, they're one more gorgeous than the other. And they were all just incredible, dynamic, smart, beautiful. I didn't know what to walk into. I think I mentioned to you prior, were they going to look like the ladies on the Seas candy box or the real Golden Girls, that we used to watch on TV? And it was the opposite. They were beautiful and articulate and nice. And you walked in and you're like, whoa, this is a lot of competition.
But I think that's what's so different about the Golden Bachelor and then with Joan's season, with the Bachelor, the guys all bonded so much, is especially with the women, when we get older, we see a lot of women fighting on Housewives, but when you put them in this situation, that's what I think was so fun about the first season is that the girls really enjoyed getting to know each other.
Oh, yeah. I know I'm part of a Golden Bachelorette sorority. It's a sisterhood.
Yeah.
I, of course, am the baby.
Yeah. Oh, so that was a big deal. Okay. So, because of your age and you're shy of 60 or not, you're in your 50s. They, people that were like analyzing the women coming on, thought that you were going to be a front runner because he had said on the podcast, I want women between 45 and 60. And you literally were the only one under 60.
Yes.
And so they thought, and she lives in Malibu, which isn't too far from OC. So they have that going. They have the football connection. Like he's tall, so is he. Well, I don't think they noticed that you were tall, but they just thought, I just saw some people saying, it's going to be this girl, Maia.
And my sports background.
Yeah.
So on paper, I think we were perfect together. Yeah. But paper and real life are different and you can't force chemistry. And I'm sure he didn't feel it either.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
Right? Not everybody's going to love you and you're not going to love everyone. But on paper, we were a great match.
Yeah. So I think, I would have loved, just because I'm your friend, I would have loved to see more of your outfits, more of your things. They did the last episode, they did a roast where they roasted him and on a group date. And I mean, I think you would have died.
I would have died in what way? Being nervous?
Yeah, I think you would have been nervous, but I think you still would have. Even when you're nervous, you always seem to like hit it out of the park. So I think you would have been fine.
I would have been good at roasting.
All the girls did great.
Yeah.
Like I think they almost featured every single one, but all of them did really well. And like, you had a good sense of humor and, it was fun, but it is interesting to like watch how, I've been watching The Bachelor forever. So I know how the love can happen like that quickly because you really are dating in a bubble.
Right.
And you're kind of, having these great dates. Nobody is getting distracted with like, a workman doing something at your house or your kid crying or like, work. So it's like, I do think that's why these romances evolve, but like, it is kind of interesting to watch, like some of these women, one of the women is just, she was like the first to make out with him. And after the cheerleading.
I love her. Oh, of the cheerleading?
After the cheerleading.
Cindy,
with the blue eyes.
With the pretty blue eyes. Yeah, that's Cindy.
Well, she is falling really hard. And
I think a lot of them are falling hard.
And so she's like, I don't know. I realize now I'm not really comfortable like being in a group setting and seeing this other girl, Nicole, like swim over.
Nicole's great.
Like making out with him.
And she's great. I was in the limo with Nicole and we became fast friends. She was the first person I met sitting right next to me. And I think she's really adorable. I think everybody just has their own personality that comes out. I think you go on this show and you can't expect the Bachelor not to date anyone but you. I mean, the whole premise of the show is other women.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, what you always see on the regular Bachelor with the young people is, one of the girls going over to the Bachelor and saying, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think Susie over there is here for the right reasons. What do you mean? I don't think she's here for you. And I'm like, well, will we see this in the Golden Bachelor? Well, the preview of next week we do.
Wow.
And it's because Nicole, who has done the makeout in the pool and she got to go on a one-on-one date with him or something. And she is sitting, maybe she didn't get the one-on-one. I think she won the roast.
She won the roast.
She won the roast. So she had more time with him. So anyway, she is sitting around a kitchen table and the cameras catch it. And she says, oh, well, I would love to be more of an influencer, like going forward. And so that's, I think, what's going to propel some of the women to be like, well, she's not here for the right reasons. And I'm like, anybody going on these shows, you're going to be on TV. So the best thing that can happen is you fall in love with this guy and you get married till you die.
Right.
And then everything short of that is I have a great time and I make some friends. And then there's another part of like, well, now I'm on like a major national show. Maybe it could lead to something else. Maybe it's going to lead to guys DMing me. Maybe it's going to lead to another TV opportunity or whatever. So I'm like,
I think she was just honest about it.
yeah, like why not?
Right.
Like
I mean,
all, like everyone that has an Instagram account could be an influencer.
Putting
Like I don't
yourself
think
out
that
there
yeah.
is, I mean, to get out there and you have, I mean, you do this for a livelihood, but for normal, average, everyday people to go out of your comfort zone and put yourself out there, it's a big deal. And I think whatever you choose to have it be beneficial for you, like if that's what someone wants to do, good for them.
Yeah. Oh, I was just going to show you on the Golden Bachelor like page, they did make you like the cover.
That's cute.
Even though
And I told you I had a great time with the ABC promo people. They
Yeah.
loved me. I love them.
yeah, okay. Just didn't love Mel. Okay, so these two girls, the two women from the original Bachelor,
Season one.
This girl, I don't know who the other girl is, but anyway, they come and make a surprise slumber party while the other person's on their one-on-one date, and they basically give their advice, and it was kind of funny because it's like, go for it, show him like that you like him, touch him, kiss him. So then the minute he walks in for the rose ceremony, each girl is like, oh, Mel, this. And then the one girl that owns the winery.
Oh, yeah. Robin.
Yeah. She was tall too. So she goes, I guess I'm just supposed to like grope you and talk to you, like touch you. She's like, but I'm not really that comfortable. Like, I do think it's really fun to watch like the honesty of it all between
Right.
all of them, the dynamic of everybody. And so then, now it's down to like I think now it's down to like 12 people.
12 or 13, yeah.
Yeah, no, there was 17 and 4 left. So now we're down to 13. But what is the best thing about dating now versus when we were bebopping around Manhattan Beach
Or dating
at
in
25?
this golden era.
Yeah.
Well, there's it's after being on the show is different than being before the show too, because I am getting DMs from a lot of people. Not that I'm dating people that are DMing me, but it's
exciting.
Yeah.
So wait, are there any good ones?
Well, there's a lot. There's some very creepy ones, and there's some blue check mark people, and yeah, it's been interesting.
Okay.
So that's different. When you date at this age, you're more evolved. You're not going to fall for the same games maybe you did when you were younger. That was one thing that I thought was the reason I was going to go on the show too. I mean, obviously you hope there's chemistry and a connection and you're going to connect with the Bachelor, but I really believed that part of my purpose of going on the show was to show women our age that there is life and there is fun and there is dating and there's a whole world out there that sometimes you forget about and you think, I'm older now. I'm not 20 or 30. How am I going to meet people? Are people going to want to date me? And all of those fears are completely untrue. And I really discovered that, there's a lot of tall older men. There's a lot of kind single men. It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think it's, and I also think the thing that people need to remember too, whether you're married or not, is that the female friendship, and I think sometimes women do lose that. Either their work didn't provide it, they didn't live in a neighborhood or a community for it. They, and maybe it was all school related.
Right.
And now those kids are grown in another high school. And it's like, that's another thing I think that like the show could show you, but also anything is like, join that pickleball thing, that mahjong, that book club.
All those things
like,
I did.
All those things, your church,
Right.
whatever. Like, and then, I know there's so much, I spoke to one travel agent that said like, I have so many, travel opportunities for women like in their 50s, married and not, like doesn't,
Right.
where the crotchety husband is just like, go, I don't care. Like you want to go look at every museum in Italy. Crotchety husband doesn't want to.
It's just
It's
about
fine. Like, so do what you want to do.
Do what you want
Yeah.
to do and being brave. I mean, you know
Yeah.
me, I left a 30-year marriage. I was living in the Bay Area and I relocated to Malibu. And all those thoughts went through my head. I'm not going to back to school night. I'm not going to the football games. I'm not going to practices. I'm not going to, work in the class. At this age am I going to meet people? And I did it, and immediately everything opened up. I did do the pickleball camp. I met 3 or 4 friends. I was invited to a book club. I started a mahjong group. I go to Pilates. I feel such a sense of community. And I want women over 50 to know that all of this is possible. And if you are in a situation where you're unhappy and you're afraid to leave because you think, what is my life going to be if I leave? Your life could be a lot better. It really can. And you just have to know that and believe that. And know, a bird wakes up in the morning. They don't know they're going to find food. They find it. They survive. They live. And humans can do that too.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that I would like to share with women our age is that if you're unhappy, if you're afraid, like get over that. And it's time to live life. And you can have a great life at the other end.
Now, okay. So I wonder did you ever think if you did go a long way, would you want to ever be the Bachelorette?
Sure.
The Golden Bachelorette?
Why not?
Kathy Griffin said she'd like to be it.
Oh, I think she'd be a good one.
It would be interesting if they did like a celebrity person. I think they should do a celebrity version. Like that would be
A
funny.
single celebrity.
Yeah, that would just be kind of funny. Like they could do real, just like they used to do with The Apprentice. Like they could do real ones and then they could also do celebrity ones.
I think the show has a way of, I remember
Kind of putting you on the map.
A few people said to me, like, being on the show sometimes is a good luck charm and people find love just from being on the show.
Yeah.
So let's hope that's possible for this girl.
Well, I think you've been pretty enjoying your life a lot.
I agree.
Since you moved to Malibu and divorce. And it's fun. Like I love hearing about it. Maya and I also got into some funny memories and personal stuff that we experienced in our 20s. That is on Patreon, which will be up tomorrow on Friday's episode. Exclusive content on Patreon. You go to heathermcdonald.net and click on that. I also have a whole brand new episode for you to listen to that's very juicy, just exclusively for Patreon. Check it out. You will love it. Everything over there is so juicy and commercial free. So enjoy. Thank you.